Today I want to show you some things that just make sense for our large family moving from a large house to a small house, and in 1 year after we build a new house, probably moving back to a large house. We are a family of 13. We have 2 parents and 11 children from ages 19 down to 1. We just moved into a small house that's going to eventually be our guest house because we moved out to an acreage that we bought and we're going to build a larger house here. But in the meantime, we're combining 2 households worth of things because we've been using the small house for the last 9 months as a weekend getaway place. So we're combining 2 households into 1 small house, and it's been interesting. Here's some of the things that just make sense for this weird situation. We have a lot of seating and very little floor space. Although we do sit on the floor when we love to watch some shows together because we still can't fit everybody very well. Most people have a seat now and the room is much more crowded, but it's working. We managed to get 2 kitchens worth of stuff into 1 small kitchen. And so one of the things that make good sense in here is something we also did at our other house. We have our dishes down low because one of our younger children empties the dishwasher, but that's all our dishes combined, and we have a dishwasher that's running often. We also have a stool in our kitchen because we are not keeping many items that we don't use on a regular basis, and so we even get up to the very tops of the cupboards for some regular things, like one of my pots that I use all the time is way up high. So we have to have a stool so I can reach those things. Those are my granola jars that are empty right now. We're taking advantage of the tops of every cupboard that we have and just making use of every little bit of counter space or shelf space. We have hooks behind every door almost in our home. So you can open any door and be surprised by hooks and jackets hanging behind them. When you walk in our front door, you will be greeted with kids' dressers, shoes, and jackets. These are our younger 6 kids that all store their things here in our hallway slash mudroom slash closet. And over in our front door coat closet is some dress clothes hanging. When we're hanging our clothes, it has been very helpful to add these dividers so I can easily see where one child's clothes start and stop. And we're able to get multiple children's clothing in there without having to dig constantly. That was a pack of dividers that I got off of Amazon that I'm continuing to use. One thing that makes sense for us is we have a bathroom that also has a laundry room on our main floor, which is great. But those machines are running constantly because, as you can see, we have no place for laundry to really pile up besides maybe 1 load there. There's not a lot of space for things to go, so we keep doing that laundry, keeping it going around the clock. Another thing that makes sense is that I have a lot of bruises. I have a bruise on my knee, I have a bruise on my head, and I have a bruise on an elbow because I'm not used to this small space with all of the laundry that we process through. As you can imagine, with 13 people, we're doing laundry all the time, and I keep getting knocked by a door or knocking myself into a drawer or something like that with a large load of laundry in my hands. I know I will get accustomed to it, and complaining about laundry is something I never want to do. I'm just thankful I have machines that are washing my clothes for me. Today, somewhere in the world, somebody is washing clothes by hand for 11 children. I brought you out to our garage to show you that because we combined 2 households, we have the tower of mattresses. These are not gonna stay here for long. We have an extra shed out farther out, and we're going to somehow wrap these mattresses because we will need them later. But for now, we have the tower of mattresses. Outside in our garage, we also have a place to store all the shoes that we are not currently wearing. We have a big shelf for boys' shoes, a big shelf for girls' shoes. We have a rolling rack here that I got from Amazon that carries all of our coats. It's summer weather now, so we're not wearing them, but it also has the coats that are not the right size. So when we are wearing them, there will still be coats on this rack that we're not currently wearing. This is off-season dress clothing and clothing that kids are growing into within the next 1 to 2 years. These are rolling racks. They're really great out here. And although clothes will get dustier just hanging out here, I do not mind at all just washing something before we start using it because it is saving us a lot of space in our home. Our garage also has a little area that's become a play area that, as you can see, is very well loved. But there's this ladder leading to an attic up here. Let me show you what we've done up there. Up here is a wonderful storage space that we're going to be using for all our luggage. But also, we have another play area that the older young children are using in this loft here. We put a shelf so that kids don't just easily fall through the hole, but they're having a great time up here. It's hot up there, but we're also going to add a fan, and it's just a fun place for the kids to play. Right now they're totally into Little House, so between the lower play area and the upper one, they are playing Little House on the Prairie, sleeping up in the loft, playing school up there. They don't really sleep up there, but they have asked me. Because we are also taking advantage of every living space we can, we're using our back deck that is covered a lot. We're going to add 2 ceiling fans up here and a couple of heaters for the cooler weather, but expanding our living space to areas that are tolerable in extreme weather is incredibly beneficial. That's pretty. Of course, we have the wall of refrigerators and freezers. This is a refrigerator. We have one in our house as well, and 3 freezers, and those keep us well fed. And we also have a generator in case anything happens to our electricity out here, because we do not want to lose all the meat in those. Another thing that makes sense for us is a triple bunk. We actually have 3 bunk beds that sleep 3 people each in this house. One of them was given to us. One like this we got off of Amazon, and one we got from a salvage warehouse in our town. Triple bunk beds have given us a lot more floor space in bedrooms. Very, very helpful. Last but not least, we have an RV. Our intention has been to sell this RV, but for the meantime, we haven't, and we are using it for space to spread out. Some of us like to have our own space, and it has been very helpful for my teenagers, my husband or I, when we're working, to just be able to come in here and have a quiet area to ourselves uninterrupted. Super beneficial. I know we gotta sell it, but for the meantime, it's working. We've had in the past large homes and small homes, and it is my experience that there are good and bad, or hard, let me say, to both. Larger homes stay cleaner, I think, or at least on the appearance, for longer, because you have more room to spread out, more room to spread your stuff out. But they also do take longer to clean. It is a lot harder to get them all clean at once when you're in a larger home. Small houses, they get very messy very quickly, but it is also really quick and easy to clean them up. That's my experience. I know some people feel like it's holier almost to live in a small house with a lot of people. I do not subscribe to that at all. I think whatever works in the season you're in, some people just really love smaller spaces, and some people need more space to spread out. So I think whatever works for you is great. I'm very impressed with many people who are able to live all different ways all around the world, and we should certainly take time to try to see the world with our kids and see how people live everywhere. I also think there's different seasons. This house has been really fun, actually. I'm really enjoying the small space, how easy and quick it is to clean it up, but we have had to be much more intentional about putting our own things away. I will tell you that 12 hours of just everybody being really lazy about it will make this place look like a bomb went off. And that was not the case in our other house that was larger. So it is very different, but both have good and bad, and both are manageable for sure. Sometimes I wonder if we should just stay in a small house, but I definitely have teenagers that miss their space, and they like their own space. And I understand, because as being a little more on the introvert side myself, I do like having space to go by myself and just recharge. So actually my kids are pretty extrovert, but they also still really appreciate space by themselves. Something I've noticed, and this is not to offend anyone who might be in this case at all or make you defensive at all, but it's just something I've observed, is that when large families are in a small space, I've noticed that when their kids get to about 17, 18, 19, they are always moving out fast. It seems like that, at least the families that I've observed, especially when they're boys. The girls might be more tolerant to stay around the house. I really am Solo and I are of the opinion that we would love our kids to stay around for a while. We don't want them staying forever, but if they need some time to get their legs under them, get some money being made, and maybe they want to even stay till they get married, we would love that to be an option for our kids. And we feel like having a bigger space where they each, when they're older, they have their own space, just sets them up to be able to do that more comfortably. Some kids will, some kids will not, but we still feel overall that we would like our kids, especially our teenagers, to have more of their own space that they can go to. Our kids have definitely shared a room for most of their lives, but we've just noticed the older ones, like Judah has had this small house to himself mostly for the last 9 months, and it's a little harder when you go backward. We've finagled things around so that he can still have his own room till he leaves for Japan for a year, but then he's coming back, and I'm hopeful that we'll be in a bigger house where he will get his own room again. Those are just things that we think about. It's just been my observation that boys in a big family in a small house will tend to leave and want to be on their own out of pressure, maybe a little more, just to get their own independence and freedom, where when the house is a little bigger and they have a place they can go to on their own, they're more likely to stay. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Please, in non-defensive ways, because it really is not meant. It's just something I've observed from the few families that I've noticed. So I'd love to hear what your experience is in that way. Boys or girls, if it even makes a difference, or if it's just purely personality. Which kids fly quick and which kids stay around to, you know, get their feet under them for a minute. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you have a great week and we will talk to you soon. Bye.